Childhood pioneer Maria Real. It would be good to give much thought before you try to find words for something so lost. For those long childhood afternoons that vanished so completely. And why? We are still reminded, sometimes by a rain, but we can no longer say what it means. Life was never again so filled with meeting, with reunion, and with passing on as back then, when nothing happened to us except what happens to things and creatures. We lived their world as something human and become filled to the brim with figures, and became as lonely as a shepherd and as overburdened by vast distances, and summoned to steer us from far away. And slowly, like a long new thread, introduced into that picture sequence, we're now having to go on bewildered us. So that's the poem from Rainer Maria Rilke with the title Childhood. The poem's central themes is revolves around the loss of innocence and the transition from childhood to adulthood, and the imagery. Rilke employs rich imagery to paint a picture of childhood experiences. For example, he may describe the sights, the sound, and the feelings associated with specific memories, that allowing readers to visualize and connect with those moments. And for the emotional tone, the tone of the poem shifts from joyful to melancholic. It's reflecting the duality of childhood as both a time of innocence and a precursor to the complexities of adulthood. And for the figurative language, in childhood, there are multiple figures of speech, including similes and idioms. There is a simile in the third stanza when Rilke compares cre- things and creatures to something human. And there's another simile in the next stanza when Rilke tells of being lonely as a shepherd. More so, there's a fragment of an idiom in the beginning when Rilke tries to find words for something so lost. In Childhood by Rainier Maria Rilke, the poet convey that childhood is not a simple or carefree phase, but a deeply emotional and often lonely period marked by confusion, sensitivity, and intense inner life. Rilke challenged the common belief that childhood is only filled with happiness and innocence. And the reason I choose this poem is because I always romanticizing, even I'm so often to romanticizing my childhood, because in my mind my childhood is the best phase of my life, and that's always makes me think that I wish I could just go back to that time and enjoy my childhood more longer before I became adult, because the feeling of being adult is kinda harsh. But in this poem, the writer brings up a childhood memory that starts with joyful and slowly turns into a serious stage. And that makes me think that maybe childhood is not only filled by rainbow and cookies and cream. And what I have been learned from a poetry by this poem is poems not only the result of art but also emotional flowing and even life background from the author itself. And about this poem, it's literally the result from the life background and childhood trauma Rainier, Mario Rilke have a significant childhood trauma. It's stemming from his mother that dressing him as a girl after losing a daughter, his parents' unhappy marriage, and brutal experiences in military boarding schools.